major updates regarding the Broncos coaching search in terms of our coordinator. There are a lot of teams that are already making big decisions and hires for their offensive coordinator position, and is now narrowing down who the Broncos will be promoting or selecting as their new guy. Is play calling in the works for the Denver Broncos in 2026? That is something that we're all going to be breaking down here on Broncos Digest. I'm Sebastian. I'm welcoming you here to just talk about all things Broncos. A lot of what we're talking about today is things that are very much on the precipice of happening in like the next few hours, whether it's tonight or tomorrow. I do believe that the Broncos will have their offensive coordinator for 2026 hired. So it'll be really, really exciting to see how this happens. Shoot, it might even happen while I'm making this video. But before we get into it, we're going to make sure to shout out our sponsor.
Before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. If you download Kalshi using the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States, and on their platform you can trade yes or no on real-life events such as sports, elections, news, really everything you can find on Kalshi. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere across the country, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. For sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. Looking ahead here for the NFL schedule, we can look at the number one pick odds on Kalshi, as a Fernando Mendoza is skyrocketing right now, but Dante Moore, you never know what could happen with the NFL and their odds on the first round pick. We can also pick an out-of-the-bucket option and go with Arvell Reese. This is genuinely a smarter way to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi with the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL to get your $20 bonus.
And without further ado, let's just jump into the topic. So first, a report that came in. So Davis Webb actually withdrew his name from the Raiders head coaching search. And so now we don't have to worry about him going to the Raiders. It's probably understanding from Davis that Clint Kubiak is the Raiders' number one choice and probably the Cardinals' number one choice as well. Although I don't believe Davis Webb has interviewed for the Cardinals job. So it seems like offensive coordinator is the future of Davis Webb in 2026. So the Bills also hired someone from the Broncos. Pete Carmichael Jr. is going to be their offensive coordinator. So the Broncos have lost one of their senior assistant coaches. And I enjoyed this tweet from Zach Kelberman saying that the Bills couldn't beat the Broncos, so now they're taking their coaches. So I thought that was funny. And so with Pete Carmichael gone, now there's, Mike Kleiss News was like saying, okay, I can see that Johnny Morton could be like a senior assistant. Davis Webb hopefully becomes our offensive coordinator, and Ronald Curry maybe becomes the quarterback passing game coordinator. So these are all projections, though, nothing secured, but it's all just fallout basically from the hire of the Bills' new offensive coordinator with Carmichael. And then Scotty Payne from Mile High Report said that with Webb officially out of the Raiders' head coaching search, he becomes one of the hottest offensive coordinator names currently on the market. Several teams, including the Baltimore Ravens, New York Giants, and Philadelphia Eagles, although they just hired their new offensive coordinator earlier, have already put in requests to interview Webb for their offensive coordinator positions. However, with the Broncos firing Lombardi and opening up their OC position, you have to assume there is mutual interest between the two sides and that the Broncos are the favorites to land him as their offensive coordinator. Webb would benefit from another year under Sean Payton and would get more valuable experience as his offensive coordinator. While he may not call plays, he would be in the booth communicating with Payton throughout the game and would be a key part of game planning each week. That being said, just as I was making this video too, the Ravens actually ended up hiring their new offensive coordinator, and it was Declan Doyle, who was with the Bears beforehand, and now he will be working with Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And Mile High Report said that, okay, that's one less team vying for Davis Webb. It's probably a good sign that he's returning to the Broncos, since the Eagles and the Ravens now have their own OC. Really, it's just the Giants who are left as the main guy that's vying for him. And I know that I don't want to make it too big of a deal out of like the Broncos keeping Webb, but it does feel like, as we discussed in previous videos, Webb really has been a great developer of Bo Nix. I think Sean has had, his hand in that as well. But I feel like just given the amount of, praise that Webb has gotten, the interviews that he's been getting, it seems that like Webb, as quick of a star, a rising star in coaching as he is, I think he only wants to go somewhere where he'll call plays, which makes me, that's the only part that makes me nervous about the Giants. It's like, okay, maybe they promise play calling to him, and maybe the Broncos and Sean Payton aren't so sure they want to give that up. To me though, I think you have to give that to him. I mean, it's just the play calling wasn't what it needed to be in 2025, and something had to change. That's why they fired Joe Lombardi, and Lombardi, had a quote where he's like, "Oh, Sean was just in one of those moods, and that's why he fired me." I'm guessing he was just being salty or petty because it's like those two had been together on their coaching staff with the Broncos, the Saints for a long time. I doubt that he just was in a bad mood and decided to fire Lombardi. I think all of this has been in service of keeping Webb with the Broncos at least for one more season before he probably inevitably ends up as a head coach somewhere, most likely in the next coaching cycle. But we do want to utilize this guy's talents and his genius. Listen, we're trending towards that being a reality. The Giants are really the only last pillar in terms of coordinator or OC that needs to be hired. If we can get past them, if we can bring in Webb, whether it's by tonight or tomorrow, I think that the Broncos are set up for a great 2026. I mean, it's obviously going to be hard to beat out getting the 1 seed, hosting the AFC Championship game. But as long as Bo can stay healthy and the team stay relatively healthy, and if this offense takes the next step, the sky's the limit, because we're going to have so much cap room and salary to use, or cap salary to use. So the team's only going to be more talented next year. My guess is that we're probably getting several weapons on the receiver end. We might add to the running back room. All of that is in play, and with Davis Webb calling plays possibly, it's just like you could see that the Broncos have like the best offense in the league, or at least a top 5 offense. Again, don't want to get too ahead of myself. We do not have Davis Webb yet. It's not confirmed, but we're very close. We're near the finish line, unless like the Giants steal him from us. So all of this is really, really exciting news. What do you guys think about Davis Webb like calling plays, developing Bo Nix? How much do you attribute it to Sean Payton developing Bo, and how much do you think it's really Davis kind of doing a lot of the work there? I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts, and let me know if you guys think that Webb calling plays makes you nervous or makes you excited, because I know it'll be his first time really calling plays for a season over Sean Payton. But with Sean's guidance, I feel like it should work out, that those two working together. And really, this would be the last year that we'd have Davis Webb if he comes back, because he's just it's a given that he's going to be someone's head coach. I mean, he hasn't even been a coordinator yet, and he's getting head coaching interviews. So the sky's the limit for this guy. It would be awesome to bring him back for one more year. So let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you guys are excited about, who the Broncos should go get as receiver, and just what moves are you looking forward to. And but yeah, until the next video, guys, we'll see you then.